So what's up, everybody? Today I have an amazing treat for you. I am sitting here with one of my business partners, and we're going to be talking about something that's absolutely going to knock your socks off. This guy's done over $750 million in production, and this is only the friggin' beginning. First and foremost, I want to introduce my business partner, Brett. Today is going to be an unbelievable session where not only we're going to dive into his history, his background, what is going on in his world. It's not only allowed him to sell over $750 million in production already, but what we're building that we're going to be doing 10 or 20 times as much over the next few years. So Brett, thank you so much for coming on. This is super excited to have you here.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah,
This is fun.
And plus, I love the office. You know, this is a cool vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
So today, I want to talk, kind of go in a couple different directions. But first and foremost, I want to talk about the years before you got into this unbelievable team that you got going on. Like the years beforehand, what did you do before you got into the real estate business? Like young Brett.
Young Brett. So young Brett, going back to like 2004 to 2007, I actually owned a landscaping company.
Really?
I don't know if you ever knew that.
No, I had no idea.
So I own a landscaping company, and what I found is that in that world, I was scaling a decent sized business. I was fortunate to have some friends who were tied into property management, and I was able to land commercial accounts early on. Actually, my business card said, "We'll return all calls," and that was like a big differentiator, which I feel like I could launch a landscaping company and be wildly successful by just calling people back that want you to come to their house and do work. It's a pretty simple concept. But what I found in that business, it was really tough to scale because of labor issues.
Got it.
So finding talent really, and the profit margins were low. Like if you were running an 11% profit margin, you were doing really well. And it's expensive and things break and all that stuff, you know, with the trucks in the construction world. So I decided to get out. June of 2007, I sold the company to Greenscapes. I don't think that they're still around, but they were in Morris County. And I went to get my real estate license only to start investing in real estate.
Interesting.
So that's how this whole thing kind of came about. Also in 2007, a lot of bad things started happening in the real estate market. So fortunately, I didn't buy anything. I had my real estate license. Kind of fast forwarding through that, didn't make any money doing real estate, didn't get into the flipping world at that point in time, and started selling cars. So in 2008, I got a job with Nissan. I was selling cars, did quite well with it, was focused on internet sales because I was young at the time, 21 years old, knew how to use email, and the internet was just starting to become, you know, more and more relevant as things kind of scaled on that side of things. So the market was good, things were going well, and then September 2008, the Dow started dipping, and that's when like Lehman Brothers failed and all of that. And that's how I found myself, you know, with my back against the wall, just having to make money in real estate. So I found an ad on Craigslist. It said, make 100 grand your first year as a realtor.
From what?
Remember Craigslist? Like, yeah.
You know, I'm saying, like, who posted that?
So it was Joe Tamburo with Gotham Realty. Okay. And that's how I met David DeVoe.
Okay.
Steven Rosado and I met at Gotham Realty. Andrew Sanderson was one of the OGs over there. Like, we had some really good people that came through this pretty cool Hoboken office that had a really good culture, but what it was missing was really teaching the agents how to transition and make money in the sales side of things. So,
because it was really big leasing.
Yeah, we pumped rentals. I mean, we were all making six figures doing rentals, but you couldn't really make more than that low six figures doing it. And we knew that there was, you know, a lot more to this business. So,
sure.
I kind of tiptoed with the sales side of things and did a little Mike Ferry, but never really hammered down. I was complacent, and that's what I try to teach agents not to be, is like through my 20s, and I'm now 36, through my 20s and my first, you know, the beginning of my real estate career, I didn't really start like going after big income, I would say, until 2013. And that's when David DeVoe, who you know very well too, he started pulling me out of that and was like, dude, let's hockey stick this thing. Let's get you up. Like, you can really sell. Yeah. But I didn't want to follow a process. I didn't want to follow a schedule. I didn't want to follow a CRM. I was afraid. I didn't have the self-confidence to go out and go after that $2 million listing. Like, things were not what I needed them to be. And I think that that's why, you know, from 2015, when I went out and did my own thing with the Support Group, yeah, I've made it a mission to not let agents make the same mistake that I've made.
Got it.
So that's my quick way of saying how we got here.
So, okay, so 2015, you start your own team.
Yeah.
You're on track to do over 300 million this year. Wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, like, what do you feel like when you started your team? I'm curious, like, what was your vision for the team? Like, was it always up to this big scaling point here, or was it just to...
Yeah, so when I first, with the residential team, when I first started that, I wanted high producing, lean and mean agents. I wanted $20+ million producers only. I wanted the Navy SEALs. I was very big on like, let's get talent, and then let's get the talent to like really perform. You know, it was like we're still pretty picky about who comes into our world, and we're constantly trimming and moving people out. But that's where it was found, and since then, you know, we've lowered our standards. I don't only have $20 million producers, but I do have a good amount of $20+ million producers in our world. So, you know, when we've talked about this before getting on this, it seems to be $100,000 is that magic number in the world of real estate. I think that if you're earning $100,000 and you have a real estate license, whether you're on commercial or residential, you're doing well. Like you're paying bills. You can go lease an E-Class if you want to. You can buy.
You're definitely in a place where like you're not freaking out about money.
Yeah, you're earning enough to live an okay life here in New Jersey.
Yep.
So that's what I've started counting. So right now, we have 24 six-figure earners in our organization.
Awesome.
I think that's like a measure of success that in my world is pretty important. We want 42 is like our short-term goal. And then by the end of 2025, which we're a little over 2 years from, a little less than 2 years, I should know that. We want to have 300.
Awesome.
So we're in this like blitz scale aspect, and that's what like us with the commercial side of things too. I think there's a huge gap. There's a huge opportunity. There's so many residential agents that can hit a six-figure commission on one deal, and they're not even paying attention to it. So
it's like right underneath the nose, and they have no idea.
It's insane. I'm guilty of it. I see it, and that's what this collaboration is all about.
Yeah. So I'm curious, because I'm curious to get your thoughts on this real quick, and then we'll talk about what we're launching and all the awesome stuff we got going on. Which is around the agents who are like around the 100K mark. Two questions back to back. One of which is like, what do you feel like is like the biggest mistake these agents that they're making that's holding them back from making, whether that's their first 100 or more? I'm just curious to get your thoughts.
Honestly, I think operating with a system or a plan and being repetitive around that. It's repetitious boredom that creates success in this world.
Yeah.
And it's complacency that stops them from making the big money. So the repetitious boredom, we need them to operate on, and not just be like free-forming and doing whatever the hell they want to do. They have to actually follow a process and system. And there could be a little bit of, it can zigzag a little bit. It can be like, you can be really good at open houses and dominate that. Or you can be really good at for sale by owners and dominate that. But I want you to not be a little good at for sale by owners and a little, I want you to actually own what it is you want to be doing. And there's different personality types in this business that can be great at, door knocking, or they can be great at Instagram, they can be great at social. Following that plan and having that actual process around that is huge. That's why people don't get to the 100,000, and then why people get stuck at the 100 to 250 is I tell people 250 grand is a lot of money if you don't have a plan on why you need to make $1 million. 500 grand is a lot of money if you don't have a plan on why you want to make $5 million.
Yeah.
So looking at that and actually working with a coach or working with somebody to mentor you to show you, hey, 500 grand can go really quickly if you're investing 200 a year in syndications.
Agreed.
It can go really quickly if you're spending 200 grand a year on stupid stuff too.
Yeah.
So having that plan around that is really where I geek out.
The second question I have is around the team aspect, because I had a completely different thought when I built my team.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am going Henry team. Because at first I built a team that was like, I'm going to recruit everybody who has a fucking pulse. Yeah, and go all these different. Anyone who wants to join my team, I was recruiting them like crazy. That sucked. I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I'm only building out a team that's just for Henry. I was like, this is gonna be the Henry team on the resi side.
Yep.
And I was just gonna hire assistants and be really tiny.
Yeah.
Right. Henry does 99% of the production, but I have a bunch of assistants that do all the extra work. Which one do you think makes, again, for an agent that's looking to build a team? If you're giving them advice, they're like, hey, Brett, you're successful at building a team. Which way do I go?
I would say the Henry system, the second, what you said with the administrative support, I think that is a smarter way of doing it. Let Henry do what he does insanely well. You're going to be wildly profitable doing it the Henry system way too. The first team that you mentioned is kind of taking anybody. That's probably the biggest mistake I see everybody make.
100% agree.
They're like, I want to build a team and here's this.
Or people fog a mirror and they're like, great.
Yeah. I mean, and we're even at a point too where we're like, we'll take new agents if we see if we really see something special in them. But where we're really focused right now too is that $100,000 producer that's stuck, that's going backwards. That's the worst thing I can see.
Especially over the last few years.
Yeah.
The economy shift, yeah.
Oh yeah. And then they have the mindset issues that come in from that and stuff. And they're like, I can't. I've also seen agents that, they'll make 300 grand a year and they'll get sick. And then they didn't have a system around it, and their income and everything will completely implode.
Sure.
That's where I feel like we've really been valuable to folks and going in and making sure that hey, if you sold 18 homes last year, we're going to get you to 36. And guess what? It's not Zillow that's going to get you there. It's scheduled systems. It's having client appreciation events if you're built, around Sphere. It's really doing all of the right things. And I know you touch on a lot of that in the videos that you put out.
I might strike a chord here, right? I am so against paying for leads.
Yeah.
So against paying for leads, period. I will never do it. I've spent tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on it. I've never made any sort of decent return enough to continue doing it. But we see things like, these mega agents paying for $2 million a year in Zillow leads or billboards or anything like that. Do you subscribe to that or not?
No, well, so it's funny. We never had Zillow leads. We were never a Zillow company. We did have Realtor.com for a little bit, which was less expensive than Zillow.
Yeah.
And then I knew Flex that was coming into our area, and that was of interest to me.
So the Zillow Flex?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you pay a referral. It's like opposite. You pay a referral at the end. And we went down this whole, we're 2 years into Zillow Flex. We had to sign up for Zillow for a year prior to get put on the program.
Yeah.
So we went down that rabbit hole, but it's interesting that you're mentioning that right now. It's a long 2-year circle to find that our core business is still sphere of influence and prospecting and past clients.
And it will be forever, right?
Yeah. I'm a big data guy. We like to really pay attention to where things are going. So every offer that comes in through the team, we type them for the team members. So I can see when they're coming through. I can see the lead source that's coming through. We had, I think it was 2 weeks ago, 22 Zillow offers or something came through.
Wow.
In 1 week from all of our agents. And yet only 2 got accepted. And when we're looking at Sphere, on the purchase side of things, it was something like 12 Sphere offers went through and 8 of them got accepted. So you start to kind of think of, is it the agent? Is it the lead source? Is it the quality of lead? Is it the person? Is it the consumer that's shopping on Zillow or Truly or whatever any of them? Is the consumer just more naggy? Are they more of a problem? I don't know. Yeah. But I pay attention to the fact that there's a lot of time spent creating those 22 offers and only 2 of them are turning into income. I think I'm on the same page. Again, I'm getting there in a different way. I agree with you. And for me, being back and prospecting and stuff like that with the team, I'm still seeing that. It's it is Sphere. It's taking that. I have agents that say my whole Sphere moved out of the area. Connect with them, find out who else they know that lives in the area. They loved you, So
it's also if it's even possible for your entire Sphere to have moved.
Yeah,
you don't have a big enough Sphere.
That's a whole nother. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. When I first started with the Mike Ferry system back in the day, one of the first homework assignments was call every single person in your phone. They didn't care where it was from.
Yep.
And then we were categorizing based on those conversations into your ABC list of the A you're talking to once a month, those are your superstar raving fans, your B is every 3 months, and your C is every 6 months. If you hate somebody and the call went awfully wrong, get them off your list. If you see that name come up, it's going to stop you from making your dial.
Exactly.
If you're still watching this video, that means to me that you're a committed real estate agent and you're looking to take your life and business to the next level. I'm just curious. Why have you yet to schedule your free, no obligation coaching consultation? All you have to do is simply go in the description down below, and people are telling me this call has been the most unbelievable, the most powerful call they've had in their entire career. And here's just a few of the individuals who have taken full advantage of this call. And my mission is to support as many realtors as possible, build a 6- and 7-figure net income business so that they don't have to rely on this industry anymore for their everyday income. If you're a committed realtor, which I can see like you are, all you have to simply do to take full advantage of this free coaching consultation is to go in the description down below and schedule your free call now.